Ethan Carter strutted through the glass-paneled office of Carter Enterprises, his expensive Italian shoes clicking against the marble floor. He loved power, and more than that, he loved reminding people he had it. Employees scurried out of his way, careful to avoid the wrath of their temperamental CEO. To him, they were disposable, insignificant cogs in the grand machine of his empire. Sophie Reynolds, a diligent and creative marketing associate, had always kept her head down, working tirelessly. But today, she found herself standing in front of Ethan, his cold blue eyes boring into her. "You're late again, Reynolds," he sneered, tossing a file onto his desk. "And your latest campaign? Mediocre at best." Sophie swallowed hard. "Sir, I was working late to finalize the proposal. The numbers prove—" "I don't care about numbers," Ethan interrupted, waving a dismissive hand. "I need results, not excuses. You're holding this company back." Sophie's heart pounded. She had given her all to Carter Enterprises, but no matter how hard she worked, Ethan never acknowledged it. He thrived on belittling his employees, making them feel small. "You're fired," he said, his tone casual, as if discussing the weather. The words hit Sophie like a punch to the gut. "But—" "No buts. Security will escort you out." Humiliation burned through her as she gathered her belongings, ignoring the pitying glances from her colleagues. But as she stepped out of Carter Enterprises for the last time, she made herself a promise. This was not the end. For the next 3 years, Sophie poured every ounce of energy into building her own marketing firm. She networked relentlessly, learned the ins and outs of the business world, and secured high-profile clients. What started as a small, struggling startup soon became one of the most sought-after firms in the industry. Investors lined up to work with her. And when the opportunity arose to expand into corporate acquisitions, she didn't hesitate. One day, her assistant handed her a thick file. "Sophie, this is interesting. Carter Enterprises is hemorrhaging money. Their investors are pulling out." Sophie smirked. It seemed karma had impeccable timing. "Schedule a meeting," she said. The boardroom of Carter Enterprises felt different this time. Sophie walked in with quiet confidence, dressed in an elegant navy suit, her presence commanding. Across the long table sat Ethan, his once arrogant demeanor replaced with barely concealed desperation. He was trying to hold his company together, but he was losing grip. The moment his eyes met Sophie's, recognition dawned, followed by pure shock. "Reynolds," he breathed. "That's Ms. Reynolds to you," she corrected, her voice cool. She slid a document across the table. "My firm has acquired a controlling stake in Carter Enterprises. I'm your new investor." Ethan's face paled. "That's impossible." Sophie chuckled. "Is it? Maybe if you'd valued the people who worked for you, you wouldn't be in this position." She leaned forward. "Consider this karma, Ethan." Silence filled the room as the reality sank in. Ethan had underestimated her, fired her, and now she held his company's future in her hands. What happens now?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Sophie stood, gathering her files. "That depends. You can step down gracefully, or you can watch as I dismantle this company piece by piece." Ethan swallowed hard, knowing he had no choice. He had built his empire on arrogance, and now it was slipping through his fingers, delivered straight into the hands of the woman he had dismissed so easily. As she walked out of the boardroom, Sophie smiled to herself. She had won, and this was only the beginning.